The night the village decided that education was useless, the moon hid behind thick clouds, as though the sky itself refused to watch the judgment. In the village of Amuka, where red dust clung to every footstep and ancient Irako trees whispered old beliefs, success was measured by barns filled with yam and goats tied behind houses. Books were not respected there. Pens were mocked. Education was called a lie told to the poor. On that night, under a flickering lantern in the village square, elders gathered, their voices heavy with certainty. Laughter rolled through the crowd like thunder as they spoke of the future. Education, one elder scoffed, spitting on the ground. Can it plant yam? The men roared with laughter. At the edge of the gathering stood Chibuzo, a thin orphan boy with tired eyes and patched clothes. He said nothing. His hands trembled as he listened, but his gaze remained fixed on the ground. Every laugh cut into him, yet he swallowed the pain in silence. His father had died when he was still young, leaving only memories and debts. His mother survived by selling firewood in the market, her palms cracked and her back bent by years of struggle. Still, every night, she watched her son read beneath a weak kerosene lamp, the flame trembling like their fragile hope. That lamp would soon become a symbol of mockery in Amuka. Every morning before the sun rose, Chibuzo walked barefoot for miles to school. His uniform was faded and torn, patched so many times it barely held together. Hunger often twisted his stomach, but he never missed a class. In school, teachers noticed him. "This boy asks questions like a man," one teacher whispered to another. But outside the classroom, the village had already decided his fate. When Chibuzo graduated as the best student in the district, the elders called a meeting, not to praise him, but to warn him. Chief Namdi, the richest man in Amuka, leaned heavily on his walking stick and stared at the boy. "You are wasting your life," the chief said coldly. "Books will not save you when hunger comes." Chibuzo bowed his head respectfully. "I only want a chance," he replied softly. The men burst into laughter again. "Go and learn farming," one shouted. "That is what feeds a man." Days later, a laborer offered Chibuzo quick money at a construction site. "Drop this education nonsense," the man said. "I'll pay you daily." That night, Chibuzo told his mother. She remained silent for a long time, then placed her tired hand on his shoulder. "If education fails you," she said quietly, "let it fail you completely. Do not abandon it halfway." Those words planted themselves deep in his heart. Against all odds, Chibuzo earned a scholarship to study civil engineering in the city. When the news reached Amuka, people shook their heads. "He will return worse than before," they said. "The city will swallow him." On the day he left, Chief Namdi stood by the roadside. "When you fail," the chief said with a thin smile, "remember we warned you." Chibuzo bowed respectfully. "I will remember," he said. City life showed him no mercy. He slept in crowded rooms, cleaned offices at night, and studied until his eyes burned. Some days, he survived on water alone. When his mother fell ill, he sold his phone to send money home. Many times, he nearly gave up, but he didn't. Years passed, and quietly, Chibuzo succeeded. After graduation, no celebration followed him home. No drums were beaten. No one came looking, but opportunity found him. His work drew attention. Soon, he was managing large projects and designing bridges. Still, he wore simple clothes and said nothing about his success. Back in Amuka, suffering arrived. Floods destroyed farms. Roads collapsed. Crops rotted because trucks could not pass. Chief Namdi lost warehouses, and his wealth began to crumble. Then the government announced a new road project. Engineers were coming. The village gathered in hope. A black SUV arrived. The door opened, and out stepped Chibuzo. At first, no one recognized him. Then he spoke. "I am the lead engineer assigned to this project." Silence fell like a heavy cloth. Chief Namdi's walking stick dropped to the ground. "This cannot be," someone whispered. Chibuzo's eyes moved across familiar faces, faces that once laughed at him. That night, Chibuzo sat alone, remembering hunger, mockery, and shame. He remembered his mother's tired eyes and the laughter that followed him through his childhood. The next morning, he made his choice. Instead of destruction, he redesigned the road to protect the village. He hired local youths, trained them, and paid them well. At a village meeting, he spoke calmly. "They said education was useless," he said. "But today, it builds roads and feeds families." He turned to Chief Namdi. "You showed me what ignorance looks like," he said. "So I chose knowledge." Tears streamed down the old man's face. For the first time, Amuka stood in silence, not in mockery, but in respect. Chibuzo built a school, a library, and a scholarship fund for village children. The same kerosene lamp his mother once used was placed in the library as a reminder of humble beginnings. Before she passed, his mother smiled weakly. "They laughed at you," she said, "but you answered with truth. Every challenge leaves a lesson, and every lesson shapes who we become." If this story spoke to you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more meaningful stories.